Yo, what is up guys? It's me, Lee, back bringing you some more NBA highlights. We got 9 games of NBA action to take a look at today, so let's just get right into it. The Toronto Raptors bounced back after falling to the Detroit Pistons the night before to claim the 128-92 win over the New York Knicks. No Kawhi Leonard, of course, for Toronto, since the organization still decides to rest him on back-to-back games, but it's not like they would have needed him to beat the Knicks anyways because it's against the Knicks. No one loses to the Knicks these days except the Lakers. Anyways, Kyle Lowry did return last night to score 15 points and dish out 8 assists, while Jeremy Lin had his best game since joining the Raptors with 20 points off the bench. Good to see him getting going, as he has really been struggling ever since joining the Raptors, and if he plays how he was playing earlier this season with the Hawks for Toronto, then that will only make the Raptors that much more dangerous of a team. The Detroit Pistons, of course, coming off another thrilling win over the Toronto Raptors and playing a lot better these days, so you would think that they would have won this game against the Cleveland Cavaliers as well, but they didn't. Detroit loses to Cleveland 126-119. There was no Blake Griffin for Detroit in this game though, as he sat out due to rest to prepare for the playoffs, but still, that's no excuse. Shout out to Colin Sexton though. He was balling out last night. 27 points, 10 of 16 shooting from the field and 5 of 6 from 3, and he's been on a tear ever since the All-Star break really, averaging over 20 points per game while shooting 47% from the field and 46% from 3. Those scouts who said the Cavs made a mistake earlier in the season by selecting him in the draft probably feel pretty dumb right about now. The Golden State Warriors were without DeMarcus Cousins and Andre Iguodala last night, but they still had Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant, so it's not like you could say that you would expect them to lose this game, but they still did anyways. 111-105 to the Spurs. DeMar DeRozan almost notching a triple-double with 26 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. And I just gave a shout out to Sexton for how he's been playing, but I also had to give a shout out to the Spurs for how they've been playing. They're 5th in the Western Conference with a record of 42-29. And a few people before the season started thought that this was finally going to be the year that the Spurs missed the playoffs after the Spurs barely made the playoffs the year before. But regardless of that, they're still hanging around. And that's despite the fact that they've been without their starting point guard DeJounte Murray all season long. So huge props to the San Antonio Spurs. After beating the Pacers 106-98, Damian Lillard came out and said that he believes that the NBA world is sleeping on the Blazers and how good they've been this season. And he vowed to bounce back from how the Blazers got swept in the first round of the playoffs last year. Well, that is good to hear, but I don't think it's so much people are sleeping on the Blazers. They're a really good regular season team. We all know this. It's just, we also know that they're not really contenders. They're a team that's been on the verge of possibly being a contender for the past couple of years. They just always needed that extra player to help get them over the hump. Something like a Paul George, Jimmy Butler, or Kawhi Leonard type of player would have been great for Portland, but they were never able to get one of those players. And like Lillard said, the fact that they were the 3rd seed in the West last year and got absolutely manhandled by the Pelicans doesn't help the fact that we as fans might not be too optimistic on the Blazers' chances for success this postseason. The OKC Thunder haven't been so hot as of late, as with this 116-107 loss to the Heat, they have now lost their last 3 games straight and are 5-10 in their last 15. Goran Dragic and Dwayne Wade though did do work this game. Wade with 25 and Dragic with 26 points and 11 assists off the bench. Back to the Thunder though, Paul George said after the game that the Thunder are still doing what they need to do in order to get wins, and they've been playing the right way, but just not winning. It also doesn't help though that Russell Westbrook had to sit out this game since he was suspended 1 game by the league for picking up his 16th tech of the season in the Thunder's last game. But this whole Thunder losing thing has been going on for the past 15 games, so you can't necessarily just chalk it up to Russ not playing. I wonder though, if maybe the Thunder are trying to position themselves to play the Warriors in the first round. All this losing has bumped them all the way down to the 6th seed in the West, and they're only a game up on the Clippers, who are the A seed. So even if they're not purposely trying to lose and get the A seed, it might just happen anyways, and we will all finally get to see Russ take on KD and the Warriors in the playoffs. Kyrie Irving may have scored 30 points, but it still wasn't enough, as the Celtics, who have been playing better as of late, I guess you could say, lost to the Denver Nuggets last night, 114-105. Nikola Jokic with 21 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists on the night. And as for the Nuggets, this was their 47th win of the season, which is huge because last season they barely missed the playoffs and had 46 wins to end the season. So this 47th win was huge for them, and the team let the media know how happy they were to finally be going to the playoffs this year, with head coach of the Nuggets Mike Malone saying that it's a great feeling and that it's been 4 years in the making, 2 years in a row coming up just shy, 1 game short, and then using that as motivation for this moment right now of realizing that you're actually going to make the playoffs. And I just remembered that the Nuggets tried to get LeBron at the last second this summer, and while I do wonder how much better they possibly could have been with LeBron, I don't know. I think the Nuggets in the long term might be happy that they didn't get LeBron, since they are tied for the #1 spot with the Warriors without him, and who knows what adding him to the roster could have done to their chemistry. And with that being said, just take a second to look at how happy the Nuggets were in the locker room after this game. The team was legit going crazy.
Hey, we go open this bottle of water up. We don't got no champagne right now. We got no champagne, but we got some water. We ain't satisfied, but we're gonna celebrate tonight.
They deserve that though. The organization has done a terrific job of developing their young talent into the team that we see today, and the crazy thing is they still haven't even reached their peak yet either. The Utah Jazz, who are still fighting for positioning in the West, got the much needed win over the Wizards last night, 116-95. Meanwhile for the Wizards, this loss pretty much solidifies the fact that they're not going to be making the playoffs this year, as they're now 4.5 games behind the 8th seeded Heat for the final spot out east. Donovan Mitchell led the way for Utah in this one with 19 points. Julius Randle continues to have his terrific season for the Pelicans, and so does Elfrid Payton low-key. I think this was his 5th triple-double in a row. 19 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds for Payton, and 30 points, 9 rebounds for Randle were enough to get New Orleans a 129-125 win over the Mavericks. Luka Doncic, though, did tally his own triple-double last night with 29 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. And for the last game of the day, the Chicago Bulls just beat the Phoenix Suns 116-101. Robin Lopez leading the way with 24 points and 7 rebounds, and this loss just solidified the fact that the Suns will finish the season with a worse record than Chicago Bulls. Not like that matters though, since bottom 5 teams of the league all have the same chance of ending up with that #1 pick in the draft. That's going to do it for this video though. Hope you guys enjoyed. You can vote for the player of the day by clicking the little eye icon at the top right hand corner of the video. Just remember though, the only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. Thank you so much for watching though guys. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with everything that goes on in the NBA. But that being said, until next time, keep getting the buckets, Team SEC, and I'm out of here.